In the heart of one of America's oldest and most historic cities lies a reality so raw and painful it contrasts sharply with the stories of liberty and hope that once defined it. Philadelphia, the birthplace of American independence, stands today as a haunting symbol of a deeper systemic collapse. The devastating fentanyl epidemic and a growing homelessness crisis that grips the city with relentless force. Beyond the polished history books and tourist landmarks, the streets tell a different story. A story of shattered lives, unchecked addiction, and a community caught in a vortex of despair. Walking through neighborhoods like Kensington, the once thriving industrial heart of the city, feels like stepping into a living nightmare. Blocks upon blocks are filled with tents, makeshift shelters, and the striking figure of those succumbed to addiction, many slumped in broad daylight. Needles litter sidewalks, and the air is heavy with the stench of drugs and desperation. It is a world where the boundaries between life and death blur, and the line to recovery seems almost impossibly distant. This is the new face of an epidemic that is not just a local tragedy, but a chilling mirror reflecting what is quietly unfolding across America. Philadelphia's homelessness numbers paint a stark picture. In the 2024 point-in-time count, the homeless population topped over 5,000, with a significant and sharp increase in those unsheltered, people living outdoors, under bridges, or in abandoned buildings. This rise did not happen overnight. It is the product of decades of systemic neglect, economic inequality, and failed policies. Families pushed out by skyrocketing rents and stagnant wages find themselves with nowhere to turn, while social safety nets fray under pressure. The faces of homelessness in Philadelphia are diverse, yet tragically connected by shared hardship. Many are caught in cycles of addiction, mental illness, and trauma. The city's opioid epidemic, once centered on prescription painkillers, has metastasized into a fentanyl disaster. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid many times stronger than heroin or morphine. Cheap, easy to produce, and deadly. In 2023 alone, fentanyl was linked to over 80% of Philadelphia's drug-related deaths, underscoring the scale of the crisis. Often mixed with other substances like cocaine or counterfeit pills, its grip on the community is ruthlessly efficient. For those trapped in addiction, life becomes a desperate roller coaster. The high fades quickly, pushing some to seek the more intense rush of street fentanyl. Nearly every day is marked by the brutal need to avoid withdrawal sickness, the constant hunt for the next fix, and the crushing weight of stigma and isolation. As addiction tightens its hold, many lose jobs and homes, spiraling into homelessness. Particularly vulnerable are women, who make up about 40% of Philadelphia's homeless population. Many are subjected to exploitation and violence, trading sex for drugs or protection in dangerous surroundings. Older adults, especially those relying on fixed incomes like Social Security, find themselves unable to afford housing or care, often falling prey to the fentanyl trap through prescription misuse. The city also faces a growing homeless senior crisis, with numbers expected to triple by 2030. Youth and families are not spared. Teenagers fleeing abuse or aging out of foster care find themselves lost on the streets, exposed to exploitation and drugs. Single mothers juggle eviction threats while trying to care for their children. The trauma and hardship faced by these vulnerable groups threaten to perpetuate cycles of poverty and addiction into the future. Racial and ethnic minorities suffer disproportionately. Black and Latino communities, historically marginalized, face higher eviction rates, underemployment, and limited access to healthcare and social services. In 2023, 38% of homeless deaths involved non-Hispanic Black individuals, a staggering figure highlighting systemic inequities. Despite the overwhelming challenges, there are glimmers of hope. Outreach groups and volunteers work tirelessly, offering shelter and recovery services. Programs like the 100-Day Challenge in Kensington connect people to resources, while harm reduction efforts distribute naloxone, to reverse overdoses and provide clean syringes to reduce disease spread. Yet problems remain. Housing shortages, zoning laws, and political gridlock stall lasting solutions. Emergency rental assistance programs face cuts, pushing more families into homelessness. Mental health services are underfunded, leaving many with no path to care. Stigma surrounds addiction, deterring many from seeking help for fear of arrest rather than support. Philadelphia's history itself complicates the situation. Redlining and decades of disinvestment left neighborhoods ravaged by poverty. Wages have stagnated while rents soar. Median prices for a one-bedroom apartment in 2025 reach over $1,800, exceeding many incomes. The opioid epidemic's roots trace back to aggressive pharmaceutical marketing in the 1990s, which fueled widespread addiction to prescription painkillers, before transitioning to heroin, and finally the deadly dominance of fentanyl today. At the national level, governments have launched strategies to combat fentanyl supply chains, bolster treatment and recovery services, and strengthen law enforcement efforts. Yet, despite billions in funding and high-profile initiatives, the crisis deepens, demanding more than band-aid measures. Beyond policy, change requires a profound shift toward compassion and community. Education to counter drug glamorization, investment in affordable housing, integrated mental health and addiction treatment, and destigmatization campaigns can foster hope. Stories of recovery and resilience light the way forward, reminding us that every person caught in addiction or homelessness retains value and dignity. In Philadelphia's struggle, we see a microcosm of America's broader challenges, a nation wrestling with inequality, public health failures, and social fractures. The city of brotherly love faces a crucible test. Can it reclaim its promise to provide opportunity, safety, and dignity for all? For the families who have lost loved ones to overdose, for the mothers on the brink of eviction, for the children growing up surrounded by chaos, this crisis is both immediate and deeply personal. As awareness grows and advocacy spreads, voices rise, calling for bold change, for hearts to open, and for a shared commitment to rebuild lives and communities. Philadelphia stands at a pivotal moment. The road ahead is hard and uncertain, but with unity and courage, it can transform despair into hope. The journey to healing requires relentless effort, empathy, and policies rooted in human dignity. If this story of Philadelphia's fentanyl and homelessness crisis moved you, please like the video, subscribe for more illuminating documentaries, and share it widely. Through awareness and action, we can honor those suffering and work toward a future where no one is left behind. Thank you for watching.